I, 28F, find myself in a situation that I never thought I'd be in, caught between family loyalty and self-respect. My younger sister Megan, 25F, is marrying my ex-boyfriend Alex, 29M, and I've decided not to attend their wedding. This decision has caused a rift in my family, and I'm starting to question if I'm making the right choice. To understand the complexity of this situation, I need to go back to the beginning. Megan and I grew up in a small town in Ohio. We were always close despite our 3-year age gap. Our parents, both high school teachers, raised us to value education and family above all else. We had a happy childhood, filled with family game nights, summer camping trips, and holiday traditions. As the older sister, I always felt protective of Megan. I remember helping her navigate through her first day of high school, giving her advice about friends and boys, and staying up late to help her with her college applications. We shared everything: clothes, secrets, and dreams for the future. I never imagined that one day, we'd be sharing an ex-boyfriend too. I met Alex during my sophomore year of college. We were both biology majors and got paired up as lab partners in our molecular biology class. Alex was different from the guys I dated in high school. He was ambitious, intelligent, and had a great sense of humor. We bonded over our shared love for science and our dreams of making groundbreaking discoveries in the field of genetics. Our relationship grew slowly but steadily. We started as study buddies, then friends, and finally, after months of subtle flirting and stolen glances, we began dating. I remember our first date vividly. We went to a small Italian restaurant near campus. Alex was so nervous he spilled his water all over the table, but we laughed it off and ended up talking for hours. As our relationship progressed, Alex became a part of my family. He'd come home with me for holidays, join us on our annual camping trips, and even help my dad build a treehouse for our young cousins. Megan, who was still in high school when Alex and I started dating, seemed to look up to him like an older brother. After graduation, Alex and I both got jobs at a biotech company in the city. We moved in together, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. We talked about marriage, kids, and our future together. I thought I had found my happily ever after. Megan, meanwhile, had started college. She'd often visit us in the city, staying at our apartment for weekends or during her breaks. I loved having her around. It felt like we were kids again, staying up late and sharing secrets. Alex was always welcoming, often cooking elaborate meals for the three of us or planning fun outings around the city. Looking back, I wonder if I should have seen the signs. There were moments when I'd catch Alex looking at Megan a beat too long, or times when they'd be laughing at some inside joke I wasn't part of. But I brushed these thoughts aside, convinced that I was just being paranoid. 3 years ago, everything fell apart. I had been noticing Alex becoming distant. He was working late more often, always on his phone, and seemed distracted when we were together. I tried talking to him about it, but he always had an excuse: work stress, a big project, or just being tired. Then, on what seemed like a normal Tuesday, I came home early from work, hoping to surprise Alex with tickets to a concert he'd been wanting to see. Instead, I found him packing his bags. When I asked what was going on, he broke down and confessed everything. He told me he had fallen in love with Megan. They had been seeing each other behind my back for months. He said it started innocently, late-night conversations when I was asleep, shared interests that I didn't partake in. But it had grown into something more, and now he was leaving me for her. I felt like my whole world had shattered. The two people I trusted most had betrayed me in the worst possible way. When I confronted Megan, she tried to apologize, saying they never meant for it to happen. But her words rang hollow. They had been sneaking around for months, lying to my face every day. In the aftermath of this revelation, I cut off all contact with both of them. I quit my job, moved to a different city, and started over. It wasn't easy. I had nightmares for months, struggled with trust issues, and threw myself into work to avoid dealing with the pain. My parents were initially shocked and disappointed in Megan. They tried to mediate, to find some way for us all to move forward as a family. But as time passed, they started to accept Megan and Alex's relationship. They would tell me that I needed to forgive, that holding on to anger would only hurt me in the long run. Now, 3 years later, Megan and Alex are getting married. My parents called last week to inform me that Megan wants me to be her maid of honor. They said it would mean a lot to her, that it's time for me to let go of the past and be there for my sister on her big day. But I can't do it. The thought of standing there, watching my sister marry the man I thought I'd spend my life with, makes me feel physically ill. I told my parents I won't be attending the wedding at all. They didn't take it well. My mom, always the peacekeeper, said I was being selfish and childish. She even went as far as to say that if I don't come to the wedding, I shouldn't bother coming home for any family events in the future. My dad, usually the more rational one, thinks I should be the bigger person and attend for the sake of family unity. I feel torn. I know my absence will cause a rift in the family, possibly one that can't be repaired. But I also know that attending the wedding would be a betrayal of myself and my own feelings. I've worked hard over the past 3 years to rebuild my life and my self-esteem. Going to this wedding feels like it would undo all of that progress. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding? Am I letting my past hurt cloud my judgment, or am I right to stand my ground and protect my own emotional well-being? Update 1. It's been about a month since my last post, and I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment and offer support. Your words have been a source of comfort during this challenging time. The past few weeks have been a whirlwind of emotions and confrontations. After my initial refusal to attend the wedding, my parents intensified their efforts to change my mind. They called almost daily, each conversation more heated than the last. My mom, in particular, seemed determined to wear me down. She'd oscillate between guilt-tripping me about family loyalty and trying to convince me that attending the wedding would be a way to show I've moved on. My dad, who I've always been closer to, took a different approach. He'd call when Mom wasn't around, his voice tired and strained. He'd reminisce about our family vacations, the time he taught Megan and me to ride bikes, the science fairs he helped us prepare for. I could tell he was trying to remind me of the good times, hoping it would soften my resolve. It was harder to resist his gentle persuasion than Mom's forceful tactics. Things escalated when my parents enlisted our extended family. Suddenly, I was bombarded with messages from aunts, uncles, and cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. Some were understanding, offering words of support regardless of my decision. Others were less kind, accusing me of being selfish and vindictive. My cousin Rachel, 32F, who I've always been close to, was particularly vocal. She reminded me of the pact we made as kids to always be there for each other's weddings. It was a low blow, bringing up childhood promises in this context. The situation reached a boiling point about 2 weeks ago when Megan showed up at my apartment unannounced. Seeing her standing there, after 3 years of no contact, was jarring. She looked different, her hair was shorter, she'd lost weight, and there was a weariness in her eyes that I didn't recognize. For a moment, we just stared at each other, the weight of our shared history hanging between us. Then, to my surprise, Megan burst into tears. Between sobs, she begged me to reconsider attending the wedding. She said it wouldn't feel right without me there, that she needed her big sister on her special day. What came next shocked me even more. Megan offered to step down as the bride if I would agree to marry Alex instead. She said she realized how much pain she'd caused and was willing to sacrifice her happiness for mine. I was stunned by the absurdity of her offer. Did she really think I would want Alex back after everything that had happened? As we talked, Megan revealed information that made the situation even more complicated. She confessed that she and Alex had been having feelings for each other for over a year before they actually got together. They claimed they never acted on it physically while Alex and I were still together, but they had been emotionally involved for a long time. This revelation hit me hard. It meant that for the last year of our relationship, Alex had been lying to me every day. Every I love you, every kiss, every moment of intimacy had been tainted by his secret feelings for my sister. It made me question every memory, every shared moment we had. After Megan left, I spent days processing our conversation. I realized that while I'm not angry anymore, I'm still deeply hurt. The betrayal has affected my ability to trust people, and I've struggled to form close relationships since then. Every potential connection is overshadowed by the fear of being betrayed again. I decided to write a letter to my family explaining my feelings and why I won't be attending the wedding. I poured my heart out, detailing how their actions had affected me. I explained that while I don't hate Megan or Alex, I'm not ready to celebrate their relationship. I need more time to heal, to rebuild my sense of self and my ability to trust. In the letter, I also addressed the family pressure I've been under. I made it clear that while I value family, I need to prioritize my own mental health and well-being. I asked them to respect my decision and give me the space I need to heal. I sent the letter to my parents, Megan, and Alex last week. The responses have been mixed. My dad called me the day after receiving the letter. His voice was thick with emotion as he apologized for pressuring me. He said he understands my position better now and will support my decision, whatever it is. It was a relief to hear him say that, to feel like at least one person in my family was on my side. My mom's response was less positive. She replied to my email, saying I was being dramatic and that I should get over it already. Her words stung, but they also reinforced my decision. If she can't understand the depth of my pain, how can I expect her to support my healing? Megan and Alex haven't responded directly to me, but I heard through my dad that they're disappointed but respect my decision. The wedding is still 2 months away, so I'm not sure if things will change before then. For now, I'm standing firm in my decision not to attend. I'm trying to focus on my own life and healing. I've thrown myself into my work, taking on new projects and responsibilities. In my free time, I've rekindled old hobbies, painting, hiking, playing the guitar. These activities help me feel more like myself, reminding me of who I was before all of this happened. It's not easy, but I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but I'm slowly starting to feel like I'm regaining control of my life. The road ahead is long, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful about the future. Update 2. It's been about 3 weeks since my last update, and the situation has taken an unexpected turn. The wedding, which was supposed to be next month, might not happen at all now. Last week, I received a call from my cousin Emma, 27F. Emma and I have always been close, bonding over our shared love of art and our experiences as the older siblings in our families. She's one of the few family members who's been supportive of my decision not to attend the wedding, understanding the complexity of the situation without judgment. Emma called me late one evening, her voice hushed and urgent. She had just returned from Megan's bridal shower, where she overheard a conversation between Megan and one of her bridesmaids. What she heard left her conflicted about whether to tell me, but ultimately, she felt I had the right to know. According to Emma, Megan has been having serious doubts about marrying Alex. In a moment of vulnerability, Megan confessed to her friend that she's not sure if she's in love with him anymore. She said that the excitement of their forbidden relationship has worn off, and now she's realizing that they might not be as compatible as she thought. But what really caught Emma's attention was Megan's admission of guilt. Apparently, Megan said that she feels guilty every time she thinks about me and the pain she caused. She told her friend that she sometimes wonders if she made the right choice, if the cost of her relationship with Alex was too high. I was stunned by this information. Part of me felt vindicated, like all the pain I'd been through wasn't for nothing. But another part of me felt sorry for Megan. Despite everything, she's still my sister, and I don't want her to be unhappy or trapped in a relationship she's unsure about. A few days after Emma's call, my dad reached out to me. His voice sounded strained and tired when he asked if we could meet for coffee. When we met at a small cafe near my apartment, I could see the stress etched on his face. He looked older, more worn down than I remembered. Over cups of strong black coffee, my dad told me that Megan had confessed her doubts to him and Mom. They're trying to support her, but they're also worried about the fallout if she calls off the wedding. There are financial considerations, deposits paid, invitations sent out, family flying in from out of town. But more than that, they're concerned about the emotional toll on everyone involved, especially Alex. During our conversation, my dad apologized again for how they've handled the situation over the past 3 years. He admitted that in their effort to keep the family together, they overlooked how much Megan and Alex's actions had hurt me. He asked for my forgiveness and said he wants to rebuild our relationship, regardless of what happens with the wedding. I was touched by my dad's words. We spent hours in that cafe, talking about everything we've missed in each other's lives. He told me about his decision to retire early from teaching, his new hobby of woodworking. I shared stories about my job, my travels, my attempts at learning to cook. It felt good to reconnect with him, to remember that beneath all the pain and drama, we're still family. As for Megan and Alex, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Part of me thinks that if the wedding is called off, it might be easier for all of us to heal and move forward. But I also know that canceling a wedding is a huge decision with its own set of consequences. I can't help but wonder how Alex is feeling in all of this. Does he share Megan's doubts? Or is he still certain about their relationship? I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible. I've told my dad that while I appreciate him keeping me informed, I don't want to be involved in Megan's decision-making process. This is something she needs to figure out on her own, without the added pressure of considering my feelings. For now, I'm focusing on rebuilding my relationship with my dad and continuing my own healing journey. I've started journaling, finding that writing down my thoughts helps me process my emotions better. I'm also considering joining a support group for people who've experienced similar betrayals. It might be helpful to talk to others who understand what I'm going through. The whole situation has made me realize that life is unpredictable, and relationships are complicated. While I'm not ready to forgive Megan and Alex, I'm open to the possibility that things might change in the future. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time and trying to find peace with the situation, whatever the outcome may be. Update 3. It's been 2 months since my last update, and I felt it was time to share what's happened since then. The wedding between Megan and Alex did not take place as planned. About 3 weeks before the scheduled date, Megan announced that she was calling off the wedding. From what I've heard through my dad, Megan finally admitted to herself and to Alex that she wasn't ready for marriage. She realized that their relationship was built more on the excitement of the forbidden rather than a foundation of genuine, lasting love. She also confessed that the guilt of hurting me had been weighing on her more heavily than she let on, casting a shadow over their relationship. Alex didn't take the news well. According to my dad, he tried to convince Megan to go through with the wedding, arguing that they could work through their issues together. But Megan stood firm in her decision. She felt that going through with the wedding would be a mistake, one that would only lead to more pain down the line. Alex moved out of their shared apartment the next day. The family has been in chaos since the announcement. My parents have been dealing with the practical fallout, canceling vendors, notifying guests, and trying to recoup whatever deposits they can. But more than that, they're trying to navigate the emotional aftermath. My mom, who had been so insistent on me attending the wedding, now seems lost and unsure how to proceed. My dad has been acting as a mediator, trying to keep the peace between everyone. Megan reached out to me directly about a week after calling off the wedding. She sent me a long email, apologizing again for everything that happened. She explained that going through this experience made her realize the true extent of the pain she caused me. In her words, she had been so caught up in her feelings for Alex that she hadn't fully grasped the consequences of her actions until now. In her email, Megan also shared more about her decision to call off the wedding. She said that as the date approached, she found herself thinking more and more about me and our relationship as sisters. She realized that in pursuing her relationship with Alex, she had sacrificed something far more valuable, our bond as sisters. She said she doesn't expect forgiveness but hopes that someday we might be able to have a relationship again. I haven't responded to her email yet. I'm still processing everything and trying to figure out how I feel. On one hand, I'm glad she's recognized the harm she caused. On the other hand, it doesn't undo the past 3 years of pain and family tension. I'm not sure if I'm ready to open that door yet. As for me, I'm doing okay. My relationship with my dad has improved significantly. We talk regularly now, and he's been very supportive of my feelings throughout this whole situation. He's even started coming to visit me in the city, and we've been exploring local museums and art galleries together. It's nice to have this connection with him again. My mom is slowly coming around too, although we still have a long way to go. She called me last week, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't bring up the wedding or Megan. Instead, she asked about my job and my life. It was a small step, but an important one. I've continued with my counseling, which has been incredibly helpful. My therapist has been guiding me through exercises to rebuild my trust in others and in myself. It's a slow process, but I'm starting to see progress. Perhaps the biggest change is that I've started dating someone new. His name is Chris, 30M, and we met at a local community garden where I've been volunteering. It's early days, but it feels good to be opening myself up to the possibility of a relationship again. Chris knows about my past and has been incredibly understanding and patient. This whole experience has taught me a lot about forgiveness, family, and the importance of standing up for yourself. While I'm not sure what the future holds for my relationship with Megan, I'm proud of myself for maintaining my boundaries and prioritizing my own well-being throughout this ordeal. For now, I'm focusing on the positives in my life, my improved relationship with my dad, my progress in counseling, and the new possibilities opening up in my personal life. I'm taking things one day at a time, allowing myself to heal at my own pace. Whatever happens next, I feel better equipped to handle it.